Welcome back, everybody. You're cruising with the Maverick 88. And it's been about a week since the election. And we went from an obnoxious walking douche to a senile walking corpse. So, congratulations, America. We all lose once again. Isn't that the fabric that binds us? Every election, everyone loses. So, that's my thoughts on that. It's been about almost a year since I bought this bad boy, and I have not cleaned it, haven't oiled it, haven't even taken it apart yet. So today we're going to go through that and what happens when you don't take care of your firearm. There's a saying, about truck guns, something utilitarian that you just throw in the truck, or one guy got one for the RV I see in the comment section, and so I kind of just wanted to show people what happened when, you don't take care of your firearm. If you just throw it somewhere and leave it there. I've taken this thing out in the rain, out in the frost, put about maybe a couple hundred rounds through it so far. So it should be nice and dirty, and I just want to show you what happens when you don't take care of it, and we'll go through the disassembly process and the reassembly process. But before that, I'd like to talk about a comment like I usually do. And my favorite comment out of the bunch was, "Get to the point, dickweed." Which, hey, I like negative comments. He does make a good point. I do tend to ramble on quite a bit. So I burned him down. I know his name because I burned him down and then he deleted his comment. So, my bad. But so I'm going to try to get to the point. Here we go. Let's break this bad boy's cherry. Alright, so here we go. We're over at the bench, and we're just going to disassemble this bad boy real quick, and then we'll get a close-up of all the damage I've done to one of my favorite firearms, at least probably my favorite to shoot, from not taking care of it for an entire year. So this is actually my second take. I own a Mossberg 500 shotgun, some of you might, and usually with that, you only need a punch, which you're going to need for this too. But I quickly realized that you cannot get the trigger group out without taking the pistol grip off of it. So you will also need a 1/4-inch Allen wrench. So first to start, you're going to want to pump this back, and we'll take this end cap off. And I'm not familiar with all the terminology. I'm just a regular guy doing this, so if you want a more expert opinion, you can go ahead and probably go to a expert's YouTube channel. So you just screw that off. This will all just pop out. Second, we'll go to the back here, use our punch, and right up above your trigger, you're going to see a little pin, and that will just pop out. Usually pops out real easy. Now it's not popping out, of course. Why not? Why would anything work right? So, there we go. It's hard to get a good angle on this thing when you're trying to hold it in the camera. So this is the pin that comes out. You don't got to worry about which way it goes in. It's symmetrical. So next, go to the back of the pistol grip here, and we're gonna remove that screw. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Comes out pretty easy. Whenever you're taking stuff like this apart, you're just going to want to make sure you set it down in a way where it'll remind you to put it back together that same way. Got 2 washers on there. Or you can take a picture of it, and that just pops right off like that. So then your trigger housing should just pop right out. Just kind of, you'll see there's kind of tabs on it right here that kind of lock in right here. Sorry about the shitty lighting. My good light actually burned out, so got this crappier one. So next, you're going to see you got a couple of these tabs right here, and you're really going to want to remember which way these go in. This is kind of the most finicky part. I don't know if I can get right in there and see that. There we go. It's a little bit better. but they're just going to fall right out, and that's part of the problem when you go to put it back in together. So you see that goes on the left side here, and these are not identical, so they will not go in the same way. So let's make sure when you set them down in a way that's going to remind you which way they go on the gun. So here's the other one, as you can see, and there's a little groove down in there that sits in. Next, got this bad boy right here, which will just pop right out. And you're going to see these two slots right here. This slot rides in your bolt, rides in right there. And then these two little slots on each side, oh great. These two little slots will ride on your pump action. So we'll put that in a way. And then your handle will just pop right out. Easy stuff. Lift your lifter up a little bit, and then the bolt will slide right out of the front. Make sure you keep that in an orientation that's going to remind you which way the bolt goes in. It's going to be with this groove, I guess, facing up for us, but if you're holding the gun, it's going to be facing down. And then your lifters have two little pins on them, and all you're going to do is, let me see if I can get this in there. You're just going to pinch those, and they'll pop right out. These two pegs right in two little holes on your receiver. And that's it as far as taking it apart. Pretty easy stuff. It's a little bit more trickier getting it back together, but not much. Anybody could do it. So let's start getting close-ups and just see how dirty she's gotten over the past year. Little dirty whore. Alright, well, let's get up close. My lighting kind of sucks, but oh yeah, I forgot to disassemble the high-vis front sight. You just pop it off. It's getting a little loosey-goosey. I think I mentioned that in my other videos. So let's get a close-up. Oh, God, this lighting sucks. So as you can see, we got a bunch of pitting on the barrel. Let me see if that's even worse. We got some good amount of pitting right here at the front of the barrel. So it's definitely starting to rust up a little bit. As we come back on the gun right here, this is a pretty bad spot. It's definitely pitted up too. It's not just surface. So let's see if we can't clean that off at a later date. Moving back, oh man, she's got quite a bit of rust on her right there. So you're definitely going to want to oil and take care of your guns. I don't think this is something you just want to necessarily throw in a damp environment or wet like a truck or anything like that. Got a little bit more rust here at the back. Not terrible. It's not a rust bucket yet. And really, I mean, I don't know if that'll show up, but in the lettering where it's stamped, this thing just isn't going to focus. There's a bunch of rust in there too. I'm using a GoPro. I got a Hero 8. I don't know if I'm totally happy with it. Battery seems to die real quick, and autofocus isn't working too well. So let's go to the receiver and our tube magazine. You can see, yeah, you got significant amounts of rust popping up on there. Let's see if I can get, ooh. So, yeah, if you don't take care of this stuff, if you don't oil it, clean it, it's going to rust pretty good. Now, none of this is going to affect the function of the gun. It's just unsightly. So, not a huge deal. Ugh, it's a huge deal when the light falls down. Ah! So, come up here to the receiver. This is just all dust from my workbench here. No rust on that, though. Looks pretty good. Down the crevice there. Yeah, no rust at all on that. Take a look at the inside of it. And get up here on the light. And pretty much no rust in there either. A little bit of wear down in there, but no rust going on. So, yeah, that's a good thing. Go Got a little bit of dust on there. Let's take a look at the other parts of it. Got your pump action, no rust. No rust at all. No rust on the plastic. We lucked out there. Down in there, no rust at all. So, yeah, that's looking pretty good. Take a look at the lifter. We're good on that. No rust going on there. Take a look at our bolt. A little bit of wear, but yeah, no rust or anything like that. She's looking good also. No rust on this thing. I have no idea what it's called. And no rust on, I think, no rust on these bad boys. So the barrel and the magazine tube have some rust on them. I will say that I don't know if it's exactly the same, if the same people are manufacturing the barrels and the tube. I do know that my 500, I do a lot of duck hunting and stuff like that out in the swamp, and it gets wet as hell, and I've had that gun for about at least 3 years, and it's probably got maybe a little bit less rust on it than this does, so I don't know if there's a finish difference. Could be just the day at the factory, but it's definitely as rusty, if not a little bit more rustier than a gun that I've been hauling around in the swamp for quite some time. So I'm going to pause for a second and see if we can't get a look down the barrel and see what's going on in there. So let's see here if we can't get a decent look down in here. I'm sure you probably just see a light. Let's see if I can. Yeah, it's not going to come out too good. It's actually not as dirty down there as I thought it'd be. Just must be the ammo I'm shooting or whatever. But there's no rust on the inside either, so that's good. Time for reassembly. So here we go. See if I can remember. It's only been 4 minutes. And let's start it up. First, we're going to put the lifter back in. You're pretty much just reversing what you already did. You see it's got the pins that the lifter actually goes in are right, see that? Right there are the holes where the pins go. And then we're gonna put our bolt in. Let's get the camera over there. Just put it back in the same way you took it out. This groove facing up. And it's really not gonna ride on anything. It's gonna feel like it's pretty loose in there for right now, so. Alright, we'll get that. You're gonna have it kind of cocked in there to the point where your lifter's gonna go down over it. Next up will be our pump action. Put it on just like you took it off. There's going to be two holes right there where these slide in. And you don't have to force these back in. There's actually, you see here, there's actually a little groove where these ride in, and you'll be able to find it. So don't force it. Get your lifter up out of the way there. Of course you would. Bingo, there we go. There's 2 little grooves that goes in. So you're gonna want to put this in. I don't know if you can see it moving. Those are those 2 tabs right there. To a point where you're gonna be able to get this bolt to a certain spot and these 2 tabs. Because when you put this in, the screw is going to have to be in the bolt. And also fit the 2 grooves in your pump. So of course, let me get this lined up right here. Once you get it lined up, it'll go right back in. See? It'll fit right in there. And then your bolt. So right in the groove for your bolt. So you see this should just all move back nice and smoothly right there. So then we kind of got the, I don't want to call it tricky, but kind of finicky part. Again, it's got a little tab on it, and you'll see a little hole right here. That's what this pin is going to fit in. This kind of pointed upwards. So, and this can be a little tricky, more so when you go to put the gun totally back together. So this is going to go in on the other side. There is no hole over here. It's just got a little pin, and this is what stops your shells from just all running out of the magazine. So that'll fit in just like so. Now you're kind of going to want to get both your fingers in there. This is the tricky part. And kind of hold these in place. And then you're going to put your trigger group in. And remember, it's kind of just slides right in this way first. And this is where, and then this is going to go in between those two tabs we just put in. So this is kind of the tricky part. You got to get them tabs out of the way. Pop in just like that. We'll go ahead and put our pin back in. Kind of wiggle it around so she goes in nice and easy. Then we're going to put our pistol grip back on here. Not too rough at all. Crank her down. Now we're going to put our barrel back on. So you don't want this thing to be all the way back. You kind of want it to be just popped out a little bit. And that'll pop straight in. Now if you have this too far back, you're going to notice, let me get this out. If you have your pump too far back, you're going to notice when you go to put this in, it's going to ride at an angle like that. So you don't have to force anything here. It goes back together nice and smooth. So bring your pump a little bit out, and you'll notice it'll line right up real nice. And that's it. She's back together. Function check. Make sure your lifter's coming down. Everything should be real nice and easy. Shouldn't have to force jack shit. Oh yeah, almost forgot. Reinstall our high-vis front sight. Not too hard now because this thing has loosened up quite a bit since I first got it. All right, good to go. So, final thoughts. God damn it, Dovey, leave me alone. Final thoughts. Well, this thing has been exposed to rain, intense heat, frost. It's been left out in my car for weeks, not a month. And well, we got a little bit of surface rust on the barrel, magazine tube. It might clean up pretty well. Might be a little bit of pitting going on, but not a big deal. The receiver on these, I believe, is made out of aluminum, so not a whole lot of worry there. And obviously the fore end, the pistol grip, and the trigger group are all made of plastic, so you don't got to worry about that either. Now, would I dig a hole and throw it in there, bury it, and expect to come back to a working firearm? Absolutely not. You're just going to pull out a rust rod. Basically, it's worthless. Would I throw it in my truck and let it sit in there for periods on time? Yeah, if I threw a little bit of oil on there and then threw it in there. Yeah, I don't think that'd be a big deal at all. You just might have to take it out and throw some more oil on it, or make sure you don't leave your windows down in your truck. But yep, not a big deal. Nothing to affect the function, so yep, I'm happy with it. And if any of you guys have any cleaning techniques you use, or maybe something that's out of the ordinary, go ahead and do everybody a favor and put it down in the comments. We got a lot of new gun users this year, so I'm sure they're going to be looking up tips on how to take care of their firearm, and you could help them out, or just argue about which way is the best way to clean a firearm. So until next time, happy cruising with the Maverick 88. See you later.